This week is Parkinson's Awareness Week, so I've decided to make this video to share with you the more factual side of the condition. I'm also going to be doing a video later this week, and that will be based on the theme of this year's Parkinson's Awareness Week, which is keeping control. And in that I will be offering some advice for carers, because my mum has suffered from the condition for 10 years, so I'd say that I have quite a bit of experience looking after someone. But as I have just finished writing my dissertation on Parkinson's disease and deep brain stimulation, I thought I would save you all the time of reading as many papers I did by sharing with you the main things that I learned whilst researching. Why is it important for you all to know about Parkinson's disease? Well, currently it affects 127,000 people in the UK. That is roughly about 1 in 500. And with the population ageing and more people living longer than ever before, it is likely that you will know at least one person in your lifetime that will have the condition. Hopefully you won't. Currently it costs about £6,000 on average for NHS and the local social services to look after a Parkinson's patient, but for the most serious patients it can cost up to £18,000. Also, there is no cure and we don't know the cause of the disease, but a lot of work is being done to find out what actually causes it and how it could be cured. The main medication currently given is a dopamine precursor, and the reason why that is given is because in Parkinson's patients dopamine loss occurs because cells that produce dopamine in the brain are damaged, and we don't know what causes this damage, but what we do know is about 60 to 80% of these cells have to be lost before the symptoms arise. It affects more men than women, and this might have something to do with estrogen having a protective effect on the part of the brain that is affected. There have also been some cultural differences that have been identified, with more people from the West, so people in Europe and America, are affected more than people in Asia and Africa. This might be to do with the environment, or it might be to do with genes. They have also identified some mutations in genes that are present in patients, and what they did, they looked at some brains of Parkinson's patients in autopsies, and they found a gene which was overexpressed called alpha-synuclein, and alpha-synuclein was found to be one of the main components of Lewy bodies. And Lewy bodies are like protein aggregations, so they were just kind of like clumps of proteins that were found in the damaged parts of the brain that are also present in dementia patients as well. And they think that because of the overexpression of this gene, more of the protein is made. What they don't know is whether the cell damage causes the protein aggregations or whether the protein aggregations causes the cell damage. It is really, really complicated, and not even the top neuroscientists in the world know what really causes the condition. There's also been a lot of reports about pesticides increasing the chance of people getting the disease. Deep brain stimulation involves implanting electrodes in the brain, and they stimulate regions of the brain which aren't able to function properly because they've been affected by the dopamine loss, and they're having like an inhibitory effect on like movement and the normal function of those regions of the brain. And the electrodes are connected to a pacemaker like system which is implanted around this region. Deep brain stimulation is the main surgical procedure used in patients, and in the UK it's currently used as a last resort, and use when the medication is causing more of a hindrance than a help. Plus the NHS is, either restricting their budget or it might even decrease. Who knows in future years if the economy doesn't improve. It is worrying that people that need the treatment won't be given it. So we really do need to find a better treatment. In January 2014 they reported on a successful gene therapy. What they did was they used the dopamine synthesis enzymes. And enzymes are proteins that are involved in making lots of stuff in our bodies. They took some of these enzymes that are involved in making dopamine and they injected that, and it did reduce the symptoms and had a really positive effect in 12 patients. So who knows, once we find out more and more about the human genome, there might be a lot more potential to do stuff like that on a larger scale. More on a psychological side, there has been psychosis identified and depression as well, because the loss of dopamine not only has an effect on the movement of patients, it also has a role in emotion control. Unfortunately, one of the most serious symptoms of Parkinson's disease is dementia, and I read in a paper that in up to 80% of patients, signs of dementia start showing within 20 years of diagnosis. So I can't even emphasise the urgency with which we need to find a cure. But for now we have the medication, which is brilliant, but with time it can cause dyskinesia, and dyskinesias are involuntary movements. A few months ago I was in the bank with my mum, and she was having a bit of a tough time with these involuntary movements. We were queuing up and she was having trouble standing, and instead of people in the queue, just leaving her to deal with it, just showing a bit of respect, they just started staring at her. And it really, really angers me that people that commit horrendous crimes are able to walk down the streets with a new identity and do whatever the hell they want, yet people with Parkinson's disease who, have not inflicted this on themselves in any way aren't able to do so. One of the main campaign photos for Parkinson's Awareness Week this year is of an elderly man, and he sat in a restaurant with everyone staring around him. And I think the caption says something like, "Watching everyone look at me struggling to eat for 3 hours," and it really made me upset. I see no reason why we shouldn't all be aware about it as much as we are about diabetes. The work that Parkinson's UK do is vital. They have funded £5 million for the Oxford Parkinson's Research Centre, and obviously we need more facilities like that, which will help us to find a cure and to us find out the cause of the condition. And the work they do, even in the community, make sure that Parkinson's patients have specialist nurses, and campaigning that people continue to receive money, aren't able to work, is really, really vital. And even the newsletters they send out and the resources that they produce for family members is so helpful, because I remember my mum was first diagnosed with the condition 10 years ago. We received absolutely no information about it whatsoever, and now they've even got books and stuff on. My granddad has Parkinson's, and I think there's stuff like my mum has Parkinson's as well. They have lots of little leaflets and books, and I've left the contact details below for the charity if any of you are affected or just want to find out more about the condition, which would be brilliant. And this video was made with the sole purpose of raising awareness, but if any of you want to donate, then I would love you all forever. I hope you've enjoyed this video and have learnt something from it and have found it helpful. Please feel free to check out the links and the contact details for Parkinson's UK below, and if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to leave a comment or to contact me on my other social media. Remember to look out for my other video in which I will be sharing advice for carers and how you can keep in control. So thank you all for watching.